So, I guess I just wanted to come on here just to say, please trust your instincts when you buy books. Like, if your younger self has been telling you for years, please just don't buy it. Like, you've been walking past these books for all this time, but for some reason, you just never picked them up. It was there was probably a reason, right? Like your past self knew this wasn't a pleasant journey, and yeah, please trust your instinct on buying books. Anyways, so this is basically just me ranting for however many minutes about Norwegian Wood by Murakami. So I just don't know. Like, right, I've literally been walking past Murakami books in bookshops for like the longest time in my life, and because they were so popular, and I was always like, oh my god, maybe eventually I have to give them a try. And then I saw this video about it being one of Harry Styles' favorite books, and I was like, oh my god, he clearly knows what he's talking about. He is a credible source. I need to read this. So, honestly, what sold me on this was just, oh, it's like a slice of life, people being portrayed realistically, and I just don't see it. I just don't see it. So, yeah, so no, I do have to give him some credit. This is beautifully written, very elegantly written. I really like the style of writing. Well, to some extent, I guess. I like the words, but I'm not sure if this is just Japanese being elegant in general, or if it's like, well, it's definitely like very well translated and awesome translation work. But yeah, so, and I mean, clearly it can't be this bad if it's still on my mind, but I feel like it's still on my mind for all the wrong reasons. So basically, what this is about is just, well, I like to say, another male protagonist who gets away with treating women like absolute garbage and facing no consequences, or any consequences ever be mentioned, or that whatever he's doing is bad, never really being addressed. I mean, it is to some extent, but also not as much as I would expect for it to actually pass as something good. So yeah, and I guess like another thing of him treating women like garbage is the narrative feeds into it, and the women in the narrative feed into it as well. They're loving it. They love his toxicity. And I just don't really know what's so interesting about this protagonist, because he literally never speaks. I mean, he does speak, but what does he ever say of interest? I have literally no clue what he's ever saying to these women that make them think, oh my god, he's an amazing guy. And I think this is just being delusioned. Delusion? Is that the word? By the author. It's just delusion by the author. Well, I mean, I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't know a single woman who would actually feel like that. Literally, all he's saying is, I don't know. And that is literally what bugged me about normal people the most. Literally, this is normal people if it was more elegantly written. If normal people had 30 different ways to say, I don't know, this is this book. So, because as we know, every third line in Normal People was, I don't know. So, and I mean, that was also just tragedy, but toxicity and misogyny wrapped as romance. And this book, it's being sold as a romance novel. I mean, I guess it's slice of life, but everyone's like, this is romance. And everyone about Normal People is, oh my god, find me a Connell. And I'm like, no, you don't want someone like that, I guess. I hope, please, I hope. I mean, I do have to give him some credit, because the main thing I thought was genius was the synchronicity of the book. So So the main character has this friend at university, and from the get-go, this guy is deemed this bad guy who like doesn't treat women right, and everyone's aware of that, and no one likes him for it, and he's just basically owning up to it, but he's not changing anything. He's just saying, yeah, I'm not a great guy, and no one should ever be with me. And okay. But the main character from the get-go, he's described as this like awesome guy who's nothing like his friend, but his friend from the get-go says, "You exactly like me." And then only in the end we realize, oh, he has been like him the entire time. Like, we were new, we just never listened. Because also what this book is credited for is being a book about mental health, and it's really like a core theme, and it like it doesn't really address anything. Really? I mean, it doesn't have to, I guess. It doesn't have to like go into the details of mental health, and I don't think it was its aim either. Like, it was literally just how do, well, people experience themselves. But like, the main character was so delusioned about how he affects the people around him that having this as a book about mental health was really sad. It was just sad because he clearly has no awareness about how he treats people around him. It is really sad, and I really feel for every woman in this book. That's just like, they're the best characters, but also they're badly written by the author. They're badly written. There's like, he has no idea how women work, and it's so sad because the main character is like, and the woman is like, "Oh my god, you're like so amazing. Oh my god, I've never met a guy like you. Oh my god. No one has ever understood me like you." Literally, no one would say that. Right, I gave this book a chance. I was kind of raging throughout the first like 2/3 of this book, and then like the main character falls into this depression after everyone leaves him, and I was like, oh my god, this is it. He's gonna redeem himself. He's gonna realize that, oh, he actually had effects on other people, and he's gonna own up to his mistakes, and he's actually gonna try to change himself, and maybe it's even being addressed that he's not a great person. But that never happened. He did the same shit again. There was no lesson learned. And like, I guess maybe it's something like, oh, people can't change, or like flawed people will be flawed people, or something like that. And I mean, I guess just because you made a mistake once doesn't mean you can't make a choice, but what am I supposed to learn from this book? That I can just get away with doing mad stuff and never have any effect or cause chaos, but my life will be fine. And I guess maybe that's the truth for the men in this universe. If it was just a book in the 80s, we kind of like forgot about, and like it's just out there and whatever. But this book is still being praised these days as like such a contemporary masterpiece of how young people work, and I'm like, show me one young person that works like that. Like, all right, so I know that we're all flawed and we all make mistakes and we all treat people like garbage sometimes, and it shouldn't be like that. We should be better. And I think this is exactly the thing that books and other forms of media are great for, to show us how we can be better or how to address our feelings. But this doesn't do that. Like, it just doesn't do that for me. So that's really sad. It was alright. One of like his like main girlfriend through the entire book like takes her own life at some point. And how? Right, let me tell you, let me ask you. How can someone take their own life and all their significant other is thinking of are her lips and her breasts? I'm waiting, because like, do you not think oh, she was such a kind person. She made me feel really, really safe. She made me feel like a better person. And I feel like I'm losing this inspiration in my life. No, this guy was just, I guess her lips can't touch me in the areas I would like to touch them. A moment of silence for the sanity I lost in this book. Also, can we just talk about how the only gay character in this book has relations with a minor? And that's all she's apparently attracted to, like people significantly younger than her age. And the fact that the book treats her being gay as more problematic than her having relations with minors. Like, give me a reason to read this. Honestly, like, what sort of representation is that? Because also, her being, yes, she is a closeted lesbian and she doesn't, like, she obviously struggles with her identity. And I think that's a very important story to tell, especially at that point in time in Japan. But, like, there's just no comment that her being with a minor is problematic. And yeah, and I guess it's just sad because, like, it's viewed and, like, praised for its realness and, oh my god, slice of life. But real in what aspect? Real that the male gaze is a very real thing? Yeah. I mean, that's a fact. A fact we have to suffer through every single day of our lives. I don't want to read about it. I don't. Give me some redemption arc. And maybe that's a thing. Maybe there is no redemption arc in humanity. But yes, that's exactly that. Maybe we don't have a redemption arc. This is why we turn to fiction. This is why we turn to art. Because we are seeking something that is greater than ourselves. And information and education. And this book gives me neither. I'm just so tired. I just want to read good stories about people I can learn from. And you know what? If he actually redeemed himself in the end, I would have had a much better time with it. I would have been like, oh, okay, yeah, I see you. You do well. You can do better. And I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about this. Maybe I just haven't seen something in this book that I should have seen. Maybe someone can enlighten me where my thoughts went wrong. But maybe someone who doesn't hate women. That would be great. Like, someone tell me. Maybe like Harry Styles. Please tell me how your music is influenced by this book. So yeah, to conclude, this is just toxicity and misogyny veiled as romance. And I'm not happy, and I wish I would see it differently, but unfortunately, I respect women and myself. And anyone who's read this, really.